Hi, my name's Colin Wayman. My pronouns are they, them. Today, when I went for a run for the first time in over a year, someone yelled faggot at me. My first instinct was to kind of do a silly social media shitpost and say, someone called me faggot. Happy Pride. But I've been out for long enough that I think I'm ready for some sincere pride posting now. So, this is part one of a four-part series called Things I Am Proud of this Pride Month. And today, it's my identity. I'm proud of my identity. And let me tell you how I identify. I identify as a trans, non binary, genderqueer, and gender fluid individual. And let me tell you what those words mean to me. I think of trans and non binary as like taxonomical terms, like family, genus, species. Trans is a person, a trans person is a person whose gender is different than the one they were assigned at birth. That's what I believe. I think anyone who was born and told you're a boy and then later in life says, I'm actually not a boy, it doesn't matter what else you are, you're trans. That's what I believe. If you have any questions about your gender, if you have any expansiveness about your gender, if you have any sense of discomfort with your assigned gender, I think you're trans. You're in our umbrella. Welcome. Non-binary, that's the next level down. What type of trans am I? I'm a trans that doesn't really settle into boy or girl. I'm non-binary. I'm not really on that spectrum. It just doesn't feel right to me. There are things about me that I understand as masculine and feminine, but there's no part of me that is a man or a woman, and there's no part of me that wants to be a man or a woman. My gender is somewhere else. Now, gender fluid and gender queer are two words that I like because fluid suggests that there's movement. It suggests that you go between. And yeah, day to day, my gender identity shifts and changes. Some days I dress and present more masculine. Sometimes I talk more masculine. Sometimes I use a higher voice and I feel a little more feminine and I'm just presenting that way and maybe I'm wearing a dress. And these are fluid things for me. If you only know me from work, you've probably only ever seen me what's called masking as a mask, pretending to be more masculine than I am so that I'm not deeply, deeply uncomfortable in the workplace. And then genderqueer, I think that's actually the best word for my identity because it's just that's what it is. It's just queer. I see what identities are out there. I see how men are. I see how women are. I'm not one of those. It's just kind of queer. It's just really gay. It's really like, it's like a queer, right? There's not a better word for it. And I'll tell you why I'm proud of this identity and arriving at this identity. It's because I was miserable for most of my life. First 25 to 30 years was almost nonstop misery. And I can talk more about that another time. But a large part of it was that I was living in the closet. I was denying my queerness, my sexual queerness. I was denying my gender queerness. And I was denying my place in society. Because I was raised a boy, I really thought that the relationships I had with women had to be sexual and or romantic at some point. That's definitely a cultural norm. It ends up, I just wanted to be friends. I just wanted to be friends with all the girls because they're my peers. We have the same experience or a lot of the same experiences. Socially, my experience is much closer to a woman. It's very close to a trans woman because that's very close to what I am, but it's much closer to a cis woman than a cis man. And so I always felt a kinship and safety and sense of camaraderie with cis women much more than cis men. And unfortunately, because of my upbringing, I didn't always treat that the way that I would now. So I'm proud that I've gotten to a point where I can accept who I am, where I can be at peace with myself and my identity, where I can know who's in my community, and I can just live comfortably with myself. Even though, since coming out, my life in relation to the outside world, it's gotten a lot harder. Okay, stay tuned for more.